Your clocks are wrong. Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is the Coachella Indio Waste Transfer Station Joint Powers Authority meeting. Today is Monday, September 30th. Do the approval of the agenda. At this time, the authority may announce any items being pulled from the agenda or continue to another date or request the moving of an item on the agenda. What are the wishes of the...
No changes.
Okay. Any changes from staff?
Do we have to move to approve or
Yeah.
No.
No. Okay. So we do a call to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ortiz,
Present.
Commissioner Hernandez,
Present.
Vice Chair Miller,
Present.
Chair Figueroa.
Present. We're going to have Mr. Martinez lead the Pledge of Allegiance today.
Ready? Begin.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen.
Okay, we'll do next the approval of the minutes.
Approval. Second.
Roll call.
Oh, it's on the screen. There's a plus on the top, 0 in the middle. Staying.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next, item 5, public comments. The public may address the authority of any items of interest to the public that is not on the agenda but is within the subject matter jurisdiction thereof. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Any public comments?
There are none.
Okay. This time we'll continue on to item number 6, new business calendar, legislative administrative. Item 6.1, Coachella Valley Multi-Species Habitat Conservation Plan fee. We have a presentation.
Morning, buenos dias. We're back again. Hi, Emmanuel Martinez with CVAG on the Coachella Valley Conservation Commission. Wanted to give you an upshot on the tipping fee that's in arrears. I know we really appreciate the collaboration with the Commission, working through this issue, both here and at CVAG. And last meeting, you guys took action to begin collecting the tipping fee next year. And there was a discussion on the arrears and how to address the arrears. So just wanted to give you a little upshot analysis on some estimated figures and hopefully get some direction on how we can address it. I know there was interest in perhaps the city of Indio just taking care of it, or perhaps the city of Coachella. So just wanted to give you a quick brief on that. There it goes. All right, well, you guys know the MSHCP area, 27 species are important for the Coachella Valley. Next slide. Have a little delay here. Thank you. So as you all know, it's been discussed, the waste disposal agreement had a tipping fee, used to be collected, and then it got amended. June 2021, there was a contract amendment to send waste out of the Riverside County landfill system down to Imperial. There was still a tipping fee being collected up to a certain amount, and then it got skipped, and our MHCCP revenue went down. It's been approximately, according to the data we collected, $11,000 a month that was coming into the CVCC from the JPA.
We'll go with that number on the screen.
Which is, this is approximately what would be in arrears beginning next year, June 2025.
Start of June 2025?
Yeah, the 4-year period. And this is, we did it 2 ways. One, we took the tonnage that was being deposited, got an average, it was $11,000 a month, and so we multiplied that by 4. We also asked Frank at Birdtech to give us data over the last 2 years on the amount of tonnage waste that was being taken to the transfer station. That was 264,000. So it's pretty accurate. If you and the split, we also did a split, 190,000 from City of Indio, 73,000 from City of Coachella coming in. That's a 28-72% split on that trash, which is for $528,000. That comes out to $147,000 for City of Coachella, $380,000 for City of Indio. And also there was a discussion about how do we address this? Do we add on a little fee on top of the $1 and have it pay back retroactively what's in arrears? But I think there's discussion and interest in just having the cities take care of it. So again, we looked at the tipping fee throughout Riverside County. It's the same throughout. I think you guys all decided that, and just wanted to remind the commission here that, again, it's a very important revenue source as part of the MSHCP and 71-year funding plan for implementation, management, and monitoring of the MSHCP. And I know there's, maybe in the future we can talk about CPI at another date, but we want to look at the arrears. Again, tipping fees critical for mitigation impacts to get projects built, grow our local economy, and keep our threatened and endangered species happy. So that's our quick presentation. I really wanted to just focus on the arrears, approximately $528,000 for those 4 years. If we took the tonnage that Frank gave us here and just multiplied it times 2 to give us 4 years, it's still close to 528,000. It's actually 528,320. So it's that data is consistent with the $11,000 a month that we had estimated. So just wanted to give you that upshot. I know there was discussion from the commission on how to address the arrears that would potentially be owed at the end of the 4 years. So happy to discuss solutions. I know Glenn, I think you had a discussion with the city manager, so we're happy to work with the city or with the respective city managers to address this.
Any comments from the commission on the presentation?
Yeah. Sir, how much do we bring in actually to the city itself when on this contract with Bird Tech? It's a round number. You don't have to give me exactly.
This year it would be about 350,000, but that's because we put quite a bit of money into reserves.
Right.
So it's much less than in previous years. In previous years, we've brought into the city more than that.
Okay, and then all the revenue that we have from the waste transfer station is split evenly. It's not split on tonnage based on each one coming in. It's split evenly on revenue based off the agreement, correct?
That's correct. It has always been a 50-50 split.
So when you put the money that, I just want to make a point, because you put how much Coachella and how much it presented, but when we split the funding actually coming in, we split it 50-50. We don't split it based on theirs. Now, we're more than happy to do 2872 if they're willing to do it, but so the 500 would be split evenly among the 2 jurisdictions, because it says the JPA goes through, so, and at least in my opinion. So, but what's the time frame if we were to actually go up $1.25 instead of paying it off? I mean, we talking 10 years?
Yeah, it's going to be well over 10 years.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm good either way. My only feeling on this, I'd like to get it personally. This is myself speaking. Get it done and be, even if it's over a 2-year period, be done with it, pay it off, and be done with that part, and start fresh, so that the residents are only paying, the new residents are paying what they really owe instead of charging them for backed fees. But I can see it both ways based on what the committee wants to do, because obviously we have to go back to our jurisdictions and talk to them about it either way.
What's the
Right.
just a quick question, a couple of them. The new tipping fee is going to be, what's the rate, next year's rate?
We won't know that until we get some numbers on how much all the disposal costs go up. And so it's not a one-to-one rate. Like, for instance, if we raise it $1 for this fee or higher, it turns out to be maybe 10 cents or something much lower once you get spread out between all the folks who use it or the tonnage coming in.
So next year, hypothetically, I mean, we're going to see a dollar with the new agreement that we signed with them. Because we last meeting, we took an action, right, to go ahead and move on the tipping fee, but we can't implement it because of Prop 218, and so we gotta wait till the fiscal year in order to start that process. So we're gonna have a dollar, and then is this what they're proposing? Is that on top of that?
No, not unless the dollar, I believe the commission approved the dollar last time, so that will happen. So this time, if, there are options to increase it a little more than a dollar and to make up those funding, or we could possibly just write it into the budget. We do bring in enough during the year to put it into the budget for next year as an option as well. But the tipping fee will go up a dollar. It will also go up a little more for other fees as well, Riverside, or other disposal costs that are pass-throughs as well.
But our fee for the tipping would only be a dollar unless we chose to raise it. That's our obligation, no matter what it is $1 a ton, right?
Yes,
We
that,
talked about CPI, but we haven't agreed to that. So
Correct.
if we go to $1.25, the 25 cents would be to actually pay back the money we owe in arrears, and the dollar would be just a tipping fee that everybody else is paying at the same time. Is that how I anticipate it? Okay. So there might be more.
I understand the point. Question, tipping fees, obviously this one's going to the MSACP, but what other allowable uses can tipping fees go to?
there are several pass-throughs. Usually, the disposal costs themselves from the landfill go up. They would always go up from Riverside County each year for what they needed to do. So those are some of the pass-throughs that almost automatically get pushed through. There's also, those are the main ones. It's just the cost of disposal.
Yeah, but in this case, the tipping fee goes to cover the MSACP, which is, there's an agreement there. I've seen tipping fees also go to establish renewable programs, or there's other things that tipping fees can go to. And so that's my question, is like, what are the allowable uses tipping fees can go to? And my point here is that if there's an agreement that we're going to pay it up front, I think we should look at this tipping fee for other possible revenue in order to do other services with this agency or the JPA.
I think if you want to look into other tipping fees, that would probably be a question for the legal attorneys, just to make sure that we can do them. I don't know that I can answer that question.
Understood.
But, I agree with Commissioner Hernandez on that. If you have a tipping fee mechanism, like, I think it's good to see what you can and can't do with it. Like, that way you have a better picture of what you can add a tipping fee and how you can potentially use it for other items that go within the JPA realm. So I think it's a good item to go back and look at to see what you can and can't use it.
So what are you thinking is that if we were to go to $1.25, we just keep it going, and the other 25 cents, once we paid them off, would then go to conservation or other land or whatever it is to expand it?
No, the conservation, no, that's their fiduciary
I'm in
responsibility.
our conservation, like internally.
But us, like in terms of, if there's, there was talk of a MRF here, right? There was talk of also offering our residents more programs. And I think if we can explore those options, it's not a bad thing. At least in terms of understanding what we can do with the tipping rates. Because here's the thing that is certain right now: both Coachella and Indio are growing, and the revenue that we generate, and we're taking in revenue not only from our residents, but a lot of people are obviously, using the landfill, and then we have a transfer station together, right? So, and if this cost is nominal, 25 cents, and if we choose to pay up front, but it's going to generate some money for us later on, if we keep it, like, just looking at options, that's all.
Yeah, I think right now we're discussing the fees that were already set aside to move forward this conservation plan, right? And so if we're talking about using these fees for other purposes, specifically the 125 we're talking about now, or the $1 and the 500,000 extra, that's a regional conversation, because those are regional agreements that we've agreed with the other cities in the Coachella Valley, right? So if we want to go back on that, then we have to have that conversation at CVAG. If we want to add on top of that to move, fund other projects, then that would be a separate fee in my view at this point.
So, Sarah, if we wanted to, let's just say City of Indio decided to pay ours off. How do they raise the other portion if, let's say, Coachella didn't want to? Do we have to both go together to do it? Because we can't charge our residents $1.25 unless our bill would be different if we paid it off, because we wouldn't be in obligation for the other 25 cents. So how would we go from there if we didn't agree to long term? Is that, because you can't charge our guys $1.25 to pay off Coachella's bill if we didn't owe anything, if we were to pay it off and be done with it.
I don't think that's I think you would have to be an agreement between the cities
Or Burtech can probably administer it and just add that extra fee to residents in the jurisdiction of the city of Coachella. Not sure how easily that may be to implement, but that could
Yeah,
be an option.
I don't want to make it complicated, but then again, I'm in favor of just paying it off and be done personally, even if it takes 2 years, because I think it's an obligation of the current residents to pay it and not the past, or the future, excuse me, because we have people who are going to be paying a little bit more for people that didn't pay to catch up on a bill we didn't do it. I just don't see that as being fair. Even though it's a nominal fee, I just see it, this is the tipping point of starting something that, okay, let's just charge, we didn't pay something, let's charge the next group to catch up on it, even though they didn't live here or they had no obligation to do it. So our new businesses that are coming in that weren't here before, now will pay back a fee from something from years ago. That's how I kind of look at it. So I know it's a lot of money, but we can take it out of our money coming from the Burtech, from our agreement, and cut it in half and pay it off over two terms.
So I feel like it would be more of a question for the CVCC. If Indio were to pay its portion, would Indio be done? Would we be complete as far as you're concerned?
Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, it would be. And you want to chime in, CFO?
As far as Katie's concerned, yes.
Yeah, I think this.
Along with the permit stuff, I think if there's any length of time.
Come up to Mike so we can get it on recording.
Hello, Claude Kilgore. I'm the Director of Finance with the CVCC. Thanks for having us again today. The only comment I would have, if we're talking about paying it over a longer term, if that's an option, I don't know what mechanism, if there would be interest on those funds or not. That would be the only thing, if there was some longer term payment that I'm hearing.
Okay.
That wasn't brought up yet.
If I may, can I clarify the question? I think maybe the question from Commissioner Miller is, if Indio paid its portion, could Coachella also have the option to still finance it or pay it, or vice versa? What if Coachella wanted to pay it up front? Could Indio finance it through a tipping fee? Is that possible, or does the commission have to agree on one mechanism to pay off their arrears?
I think we're flexible as a commission. What is the thing that we're trying to solve here?
I think, let me answer.
The permit?
I think we would just have to coordinate with Burtech. I think it may be doable administratively for, say, if City of India wants to pay the arrears in full and pay that off completely, but there's still balance from City of Coachella residents. I think we can work with Burtech to geofence just that jurisdiction and add that fee for homes that are in the City of Coachella until the arrears is paid off in full. Or if the city, just wants to take care of it, I think we'd be happy to do that as well, and it's probably the easiest way.
Okay. Thank you.
Just from a point of where this is being paid from, the City of Indio is proposing to pay it from the JPA revenue that they receive, correct?
JPA, or if we decide to take it out of our general fund, it would depend on the council how we want to pay it.
So then, legally, how does that work? If the general fund wants to pay it, would that then come to this agency to approve, like the JPA paying the general fund paying the debt? What's the proposal on paying the debt? I'm curious.
I'm just
on
leaving
how that works.
I'm leaving our options open. The only reason I brought up the payment is, when at the end of the year, when we split our funding and we get so much each, we could take less and pay. out of our portion, just our portion. So if we were both to get 500,000, say India decided we wanted to pay 150,000 and only get, 100,000. You see what I'm saying? Out of the thing. So that's what I'm looking at.
Commissioners, can I simply interject just as
Sure.
a comment? Maritza Martinez, Public Works Director for the City of Coachella. I just wanted to just kind of take us back. I know that there is a component that was tonnage, obviously that's, Indio and tonnage that is Coachella, but we are here as a body as a JPA. So this bill that we're speaking about is the JPA's bill. So that's why Sarah mentioned that we can incorporate this as we look into the budget for that comes before the commission in 2025, because we can deduct this as an expense. It's $528,000. Doesn't matter where it was generated. It was generated as a result of the JPA's business. So as opposed to dissecting it and trying to find one entity or the other to pay out of its basically it's cut right at the end of the year disbursement. I think that the prudent way would be to look at it as a budgetary line item that we can bring back in the June budget, if the commission agrees, of course.
Understood.
Yep.
Who's this gentleman right here?
That's our new assistant city manager.
One more question for CVAG. If-
Or a mid-year budget adjustment. I'm sorry,
Oh,
go ahead.
no, I just wanted to maybe clarify and again, Assistant City Manager from City of Indio, Jonathan Nix. Sorry, I should introduce myself when I started speaking. But maybe we can give the commission some information on the timing, if this is going to be a Prop 218 type of procedure, and we're going to implement this new fee starting July 1st, 2025. When would the commission have to make that decision on whether it's $1 or more, and what would be the noticing process to the residents? I don't think we could come in June of next year and say, hey, let's do this, because I don't think there'd be enough time to notice the residents. So how much time kind of in a back sequence would the commission have to make a final decision on what that fee would have to be, and then what would be the implementation process from there?
Yeah, good question. I think in terms of the noticing in Prop 218 and adhering to those requirements, I mean, I'll defer to Sarah. I know we talked about that, and I think it was like 6 months.
It's by February 2025, we have to know what the rates are going to be. So all this is to be figured out by then, and for us to be able to do the 218 process in time to have it on the rates beginning in June.
I think, we're just adding a lot of work onto our staff at this point. We've been going through this back and forth, and I think we need it's the fee from the JPA. We have the budget is from the JPA, so let's move forward with paying this fee off with the funding that comes into the JPA.
Yeah, I think, Commissioner, that's the simplest way to go about it. I appreciate Maritza's comments. We think that's probably the most efficient, effective way to address this item. We can figure out other administrative procedures, but it's going to require a little bit of staff time, a little bit more analyses, things of that sort. Happy to do that, but happy to.
Do you need a motion? Do you need direction?
Just a question to both of the staffs. Obviously, and I want to understand, because okay, if we pay it off, should we pay it off all up front, or should we do it over 2 years? What's it going to do to your budgets from the general fund standpoint? Because this would be a pass-through that you wouldn't be receiving.
We could, there's enough in the reserve.
And that's a question to our staff, Claude, so.
Oh, I thought you said both staff, sorry.
Yeah.
Both cities.
There's both cities.
There's currently enough in the reserve to pay it at once and just be done with it. And then if you want to rebuild those reserves, then we could take less disbursements and build that back up. Or we could move forward using it into the next budget, more or less the same thing. I think all at once is fine. That should be coming in, and we could budget that in the next budget cycle.
Piggybacking on what Sarah said, I think that there's enough in the reserves to do it at once. We are also looking, and we do have a secondary meeting already lined up in January, and we can bring back a couple of options for the commission at that time. But we are also looking at purchasing that land, right, that the transfer station sits on. So I think that it would be prudent to kind of look at the tipping fee discussion that has happened today and looking at how we grow that facility. And the tipping fee might be better suited conversation for that, and looking at that in the coming years.
So we are going to be having a conversation, this agency, about tipping fees because
Of the growth of the
Of the
facility,
growth of
that
the
would be an
facility
opportunity to have that conversation.
which is a good conversation to have. I agree, let's just pay it off and then we'll address it in June.
Yeah, if we have the
For
money in
January.
reserves. I didn't know we had the money in our reserves able to pay it off. I wasn't sure we had that much money, but we'll be taking it from our reserves that we were hoping to use for the land purchase, I take it? And the
That's
facilities?
correct. And that's
So
why
we'd have
in
to
the,
build that up when we start to buy, or the cities would have to put in funding. But yeah, I agree, and with Oscar and Stephen, that I think we should just pay it off out of our reserves and be done with it. And then start building up, come up with a different conversation, get this out of the way, a different conversation if we want to raise the tipping fees to bring more money in to purchase the land. And then that way we can then do the 218 on the upcoming budget year. And do
Well,
it.
it'll be in January.
Yeah.
In January.
Yeah, I think, but let's get this out of the way and be done with it.
Okay, so here
Yeah.
there's a consensus of paying out the 520,000 from the reserves from the JP.
Yeah, and
Is it
and that's an estimated
Yeah,
amount.
you
We'll
give
work
us
with
their-
Frank to, it's gonna have to be a dollar per
It's not
ton.
gonna be with Frank, it'll be with them too.
Yeah, and we'll make sure we get the right tonnage.
Okay.
To correlate the fee, and we can, timing wise, take care of that well, in June, by June.
And so January, we'll have the conversation, including all of this, right? The amount that we're having to pay off, the amount that we're gonna have to increase to pay for the land purchase, and have that
Yeah.
all in one budget.
Well, we're talking about, yeah, paying this off, and then it sounds like you're gonna have a conversation
Well,
on
yeah,
growing
we'll
the fee
Come
separately.
up with what it is gonna cost us, we'll go ahead and move forward paying you off, and then we'll have a discussion among ourselves on how we wanna proceed and to build up our reserve fund, whatever mechanism that might be. So what do you need from us? Just,
You need a motion.
Right, I'll go ahead and motion to bring back a proposal to pay off the current debt to the CVCC at our next January meeting. Is that all you need?
I'll second it.
I'll just add a point of order. This isn't a debt. This is us being good neighbors and good
Yes.
JPA members. Because till this day, I haven't seen an agreement between the JPA and the CVCC. So this is us being a good neighbor and saying, hey, we'll make up. So I think language matters here.
Thank you, Stephen.
Call roll call.
We vote on the
Oh,
screen.
it's on my screen, that's right. It's fancy.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Going to Commissioner comments, start to my right.
No, I just want to thank the staff for all the work on this issue and for continuing to keep us focused on our main goal, which is to expand our JPA. So, thank you to all the staff.
Sam, any comments? No, seeing no comments. To adjourn the meeting, the next meeting for the Coachella Indio Waste Transfer Station is meeting on January 6, 2025. That meeting is called to end the meeting at 9:28.
There you go. Quick, efficient meeting.